Hi, I'm Lenora.
I'm Kristen. Hello.
I'm Isabel. Hola.
Hi, I'm Lenora Faye.
Hi, I'm Isabel.
Hi, I'm Kristen.
And we are
And
Yes.
and we are not prepared, but we are the three founding non-mothers of Childfree Girls, and we have an announcement. And we'll fight over which one of you two gets to announce this.
we quit.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah. This is a really inelegant way of saying that we are.
Yeah.
Well, it's concise. We're not bullshitting anybody.
It's true. Okay, let's clarify. We have decided to end the podcast. This is our way of telling our lovely audience that we are no longer going to continue recording new episodes of Childfree Girls, the podcast and web series.
As of today, January 6, 2023, we have over 120,000 downloads of our podcast. And we want to thank every single one of you for listening and for tuning in with us and, just being there for us all this time. How long has it been? 3 years?
3 years.
Over
3
over
years.
3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. We started in August 1st, 2019. So
Wow.
So in the meantime, our YouTube channel is staying as is. You will be able to listen to the recordings of all of our episodes on our current platform, and then we will be shifting it over to another. We will be rebroadcasting our previous episodes on Childfree Media's podcast platform. I had to think about that for a second.
What she's trying to say is that we're still going to be on the air in case
Yes.
you want to go back and listen to our old episodes
Exactly.
in podcast form and in video form, because we're not going away from YouTube either.
Yeah, we're not deleting anything, so the content will still be available.
Yeah.
And I think if I were a listener or a viewer of any kind of podcast that I'm listening to, and someone said they were ending it, I would be curious about why. But we're going to answer that. But before we get to that, because we have been on, well, this actually kind of leads into one of the reasons why. In about 3 years, we've had a number of guests. If you haven't yet, if you're new to us, or if you've only been listening for a little while and you haven't quite gone to look through our history, we have had child-free expert Laura Carroll, epiphyllist, or you might recognize the word antinatalist better, Amanda Sukanik. We had relationship coach Natalie Fikes, child-free author of Planned Unparenthood Dan Alexander, Jackie Shannon Hollis, author of the memoir This Particular Happiness, my so-called selfish life documentary filmmaker Therese Schechter, To Kid or Not to Kid documentary filmmaker and subject of that documentary, Maxine Trump. We have had No Bibs, Burps, Bottles founder Angela L. Harris, Dr. Angela L. Harris on. Singer Lily Rockwellin, who has the song Childfree. You should listen to it if you have not yet heard it. It is very cheerful. We've had certified peer recovery specialist Takia Blackman, Gateway Women's Jody Day. I am a fan of that conversation very much because it bridges child-free and childless and the similar experiences they have. We have had Jay Zygmunt, PhD, author of Portraits of Child-Free Wealth. Anybody who's worried about their finances and stuff like that should look into Jay. No, I don't think about my finances. I really should. I'm going to be destitute. And our last guest was jazz musician Katisse Buckingham. We have had some men on. We've talked about a lot of stuff with all these guests, and even just by ourselves, we've talked about, I think, every single thing we could think of that would be like something really discussable in the child-free realm, from being child-free from, what was it, 16 to 68 or something like that, like all the ages of child-free, all the life stages of child-free.
That's still one of my favorite episodes, the child-free.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Ones. Really good.
We've talked about tuckophobia, the myth of selfishness that is apparently, part of being a child-free person. Who's going to take care of you when you get old? Telling your parents, romance and relationships, and I mean, really, seriously, everything. I don't think we missed anything, which kind of, I think, leads into why we're stopping. I think you have to know when to stop. And if we were to keep going, it would really, I think, to me at least, it felt like we would just be doing it just for the sake of doing it, just to say here we are again, instead of offering something, I think, new and valuable.
I agree that we just don't want to repeat ourselves. I guess on some of the things that we talked about, especially in the earlier episodes, we might have changed our minds about not about the fact that we're choppy and we don't want to have children, but yeah, I know Lenora has mentioned something about, her being really tough in her position of what means to be child free, but now she's a little bit more flexible. I feel
Tiny
the
bit,
same
tiny
way.
bit.
I feel the same way. So, it's but we have spoken about all of these subjects for the past three years and a little bit over 3 years, and we did some really fun Halloween episodes. In case you haven't watched them,
Yes.
they're gonna stay there, and we really highly recommend that you watch them instead of just listening to them on the podcast, because those are really fun. But I want to add, to what Kristen said. Um, yes, it's best to like leave our podcast right now as is, because we don't want to repeat ourselves, and because we've explored so much about the realm of child freedom, but also there are so many new projects that are coming our way, individually, and we want to focus on those too. And if you want to stay posted on what we're doing, you can follow us individually into our accounts, our Instagram accounts. They are all on the Childfree Girls bio. We're tagged in every single one of our publications. We're gonna leave them here. I'm gonna put them around here if you want to see them as well. If you want to go and follow us, just to keep updated on what we're doing individually, and because we're still going to be very active in the child free space. We are still very much interested in continuing, this conversation further, maybe in a different way. But we're not going anywhere. I mean, Childfree Girls might, we're going to stop recording our episodes. But the three of us, we're not going away from the community. None of us are
Sorry.
pregnant, please.
So on that note, I mean, it has been really incredible considering where we were when we started doing this show. And I do want to get into a little bit more specific of what we are working on, because they're going to be some really big things. So, for one personal lesson I've taken away from this experience is that, initially I was just starting out as a blog, and I was like, no, I really don't want to do a web series, because that means I have to be on screen and I have to be talking, and I didn't want to do any of that stuff, and I didn't know how to moderate, and now I do all of that and I love it. And so things come to an end, but it's also expanding. I think we've all been able to expand what we want to do and get clarity on where we want to go with the child free conversation, because we are very passionate, vocal child free people. So, Kristen, what is something that you're working on, or that you want to tell the audience that you're working on?
I'm just working on a book, frankly.
Oh, just a book. Okay.
Yeah, just another novel. If you haven't yet heard me introduce myself on every single episode of Childfree Girls, the latest book you might be interested in is called The Age of the Child, which was heavily, heavily informed by my child-free experience and feelings about the possibility of having a child, and how horrible and tragic it would be to feel pressured to be pregnant, and how horrible and tragic I would think it would be to have a child. But it was also informed by my anger or frustration with the hypocrisy or the blind stupidity of the idea, this notion that anyone who has a child will automatically come around to loving it, and that having a child is no big deal, and you'll find a way to make it work. I mean, these are all the kinds of thoughts that lead people into pressuring women to have kids, because they just take for granted that that kid will be fine and that the person who has that kid will be happy. And it was driving me fucking crazy. As was the pro-life agenda in general. So that is why I wrote the book. And if you do read it, I hope you enjoy it. You can find it wherever books are sold, including on Audible and Kindle. Not everything I write is so child-free heavy. I have two other books that have ambivalent characters. I'm not like a one-trick pony. I can't write the same thing all the time. I can't write about the same thing all the time. But when I'm not writing fiction, I am pretty much probably every now and then going to put something on my Medium page that has to do with child-free something or other. Like recently, there was a USA Today article that I forget, Kuberick or something like that. A woman wrote something for USA Today that seemed to be in defense of child-free relationships and, trying to get people to think about whether a child-free relationship is right for them or what a child-free relationship is. And she may have been trying to be positive about it, but the messaging was very wrong and just kind of a carrying on of the destructive way we use language when we talk about the child-free choice. So, if I see things like that, I'll respond to them. For as long as I can remember, I have responded to things like that. I've defended the child-free choice, and I have argued when someone has done something that I think is damaging. So that's not going to stop, even if, in some other realm, I'm just writing regular novels because I am a fiction writer and that's just what I do.
I think your intro has been the most consistent out of the three. I think like every year I've changed my introduction as to what I'm doing. All child-free related, but it's got different titles. Kristen's been consistent from first episode to this, to the last episode.
Yeah, well, I'm not really I'm a writer and I have beliefs about the child-free perspective, but it's not those are my things. That's what I do, fiction writer and happen to be child-free.
How about you, Lenora? What are your projects or upcoming projects?
Nothing. Got nothing going on whatsoever.
Liar! Lies!
So
Lies.
Last year, 2022, I co-founded Childfree Media. And so what I can say publicly right now is we are producing the 2023 virtual Childfree Convention. We're going into our third year of Childfree Convention, which is amazing. We are creating podcasts. We're basically a production company producing podcasts, new content. We have a publication coming out, and we're doing live streaming. Not just me, but we're working with other child-free content creators. So we're kind of streamlining the conversation. So there'll be a lot of new, and we'll be archiving old podcasts that are no longer active, but can still put out the content. So mid-year, you'll be able to hear the Childfree Girls podcast be released on the Childfree Media podcast platform. So that's just the start of what I'm doing with that. It's basically everything that I've learned how to do in the last 4.5 years, streamlined into a corporation called Childfree Media. And I'm really excited about it.
That's awesome. So if you are one of those people who used to create for the Childfree space and for some reason you're not creating content anymore, specifically a podcast, you can get in touch with Lenora. Childfree Media is willing to host your old episodes. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think the Honest Uproar is one of the ones that is going. I need to talk to you about that.
Yes, because the thing is it's a challenge to continually create content. But the thing is, there's been so much good content in the last how many years put out, even blog posts, things like that. And, having to keep hosting your own stuff that you're kind of wanting to move on from without losing the good work that you've done. And this goes for anybody listening. That's what Childfree Media is for. And it's a free service. We're not charging you for it. So please, if you have content, Isabel, let me know, because there's been so much amazing content put out, including our own podcast. And as you two know, I'm refusing that to disappear because we've done really, really great work. So everything will be archived. And that's the point, is just to keep the conversation going, because there'll always be new people discovering the work that we and other people have done, whether it's, from 2019 or last year, whatever this year is now. So, yes. I'm it's just freshly 2023.
God, it's 2023.
I know.
Oh my God, time flies.
Mm-hmm.
What about Isabel? Well, other than focusing on a lot of personal things, I think I mentioned this maybe on the Uprising Spark platform, but the last few months have been a little bit challenging. Personally for me, I had to take a lot of time for self-care mainly, and I still need to sort of focus on that a little bit. So the energy that I want to put on new things, I need to sort of get back. So that's one of the main things. But also, just I'm gonna keep on working on the Uprising Spark this year. My plan is to get closer to my community, to put out a lot more interesting things for people who are looking for resources on sort of how to navigate to the child freedom in any way, because that's what I do. I like helping people with things that might be challenging for us, whether it's your family don't understand, or I can't find a partner, or how do I make new friends. So I'm focusing on that this year. And just stay tuned. Like I said, follow us on our individual accounts so you can know what's happening. And we're also going to be announcing, the Childfree Girls accounts, or the Childfree Girl account, social accounts, will remain active to sort of also announce things from our individual projects, so you can stay in the loop, basically. Just, in case you don't want to follow new accounts, because we get it. But, we just want you to understand, well, not understand. We just want you to know that we're not going away. We're still going to be here. And, because we love this. We are passionate
You'll
about the topic.
never, ever go away.
No.
Okay, that was creepy.
You know what? It just made me think of something would be hilarious to do. I don't know if this is even possible, but we should. Well, actually, no, we can't do this. Okay, we're not going to do this. But the idea that came to my head is we need to release our chat thread, but that's never going to happen.
Oh my God, that would fill a book. That's 3 years.
That is
words.
That's going to be like in a 90-year time capsule. So once we're long dead, that will be that could be released.
Yeah.
The things we have said,
in private,
the secrets that we know
in private, they will remain private.
Like I said, that's not going to happen. But just a thought that went through my head. I'm like, okay, all right. Well,
about boys.
Never.
A lot.
No.
A lot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, any final words before we sign off?
I really, really, really want to say a genuine, truly deep-hearted thank you to those who have listened to us, who have liked us, and who have sent us emails to let us know that we in some way made you feel less crazy, less alone, less anything negative. Just thanks. I mean, we're really happy that we could meet in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Really, truly.
I second that. Thank you. I know we've gotten a few messages from people saying that you love our conversations because you feel like you're there, sort of like talking with girlfriends. You can still watch our episodes. I personally, invite you also to reach out to me in case you want to talk. I don't know if the girls would be available for that, but I'm definitely in. And, we're very happy that we had the opportunity to do this collaboration together.
Mm-hmm.
We all learned a lot from it. We all grew. I personally can say that it made me grow in many ways, not only like within the community, but like just as a person. And really very thankful for your time.
Well, I was going to thank you too, because, oh my gosh, it's been a really crazy and hilarious and fun experience. I mean, I think back to, again, our initial meeting and our first episode, which makes me laugh because we're so like, all right, what are we doing? But also just being able to open up, and I've been able to really flourish as my personality, and just feeling comfortable and learning how to moderate and learning a whole bunch of stuff just from doing this show. So yeah.
And I also inspired you to get your favorite pair of glasses.
You did, and wear wigs and all that good stuff. I mean, it's definitely been a personal growth journey on, like, for me doing this show. So, and also thank you too for just, accepting my zaniness and all of that stuff. And yeah, I'm just keeping it so basic right now. There's a lot more in my head, but that's the
I want to thank you both too, because this was fun. I mean, this wasn't my idea. It was
all Isabel's fault. So yeah, it's
so thank you, Isabel, for having
Isabel.
this fantastic idea and for bringing us together like this.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it's been a fun 3 years,
and
almost
quite honestly,
effortless.
And also too, it has been an impactful idea. I mean, we can't ignore that. We are aware that it's, because like as you two have said, we've heard from a lot of people. We've been able to do a lot of really cool things, meet a lot of cool people, and it's all helped us individually as well. So, it's not a flippant decision. We've discussed it like everything else that we do. And it has been it has been a real true collaboration. Like I said, I mean, taking out some of the personal stuff we talk about in chat, which is a lot, we could actually sell a pretty good book on how to collaborate when you have never met the people. So I live in 3 different countries. So I mean, it's been a very valuable experience.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
And thank you, girls, for being game to my crazy idea. I know Nora at the beginning didn't want to do it. She was like, I want to be in a camera. Do you mean it's going to be recorded? And I was like, yeah, you're going on camera. Come. And it was interesting. It was interesting and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
So with that, I guess we'll sign off. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. And, the content will still be available. So feel free to share.
And keep following us on Instagram because like we said, we're still there. Probably going to be more active there than on Twitter. Although sometimes Twitter just happens because it has to happen. And also I would just want to say a quick thank you to everyone who's been a guest on our series.
Yes.
Because we have loved every single guest we've had. They have always all been no.
There's one.
Have we? Every single guest.
We have loved most of our guests, but from each guest has come something valuable. So thank even you.
Yeah.
For coming. Because you didn't have to, you could have said no. We are the ones who reached out. Unless you're someone who invited yourself on, in which case you're welcome.
All right. Bye everyone.
Bye.